Hey, and welcome back to JBC English Learning Academy. My name is Laura, and I'm here to guide you on your journey to clear, confident, and natural English. If you truly love Jesus, like the video, subscribe to the channel, keep watching the video believing in Jesus, you will learn something good, and comment to let us know what you are watching. Your support truly helps this channel grow. Alright, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin today's session. I want you to imagine a quiet morning, the kind of morning when the world feels soft and a little sleepy, like everything is waking up slowly, including you. The sun is not strong yet. It is gentle, almost shy. The sky is cool and blue, with thin clouds stretching like long lines of cotton. You take a small breath, and the air feels fresh, almost new. And in this soft, peaceful moment, you hear a voice inside you, a quiet voice, almost a whisper, saying something you have heard many times before. I wish I felt more confident. This is where our story begins. Not with noise, not with a big event, but with a soft feeling inside your chest. A small wish, a small dream. And this dream is so simple, yet so powerful. You want to grow confidence slowly and naturally, the kind that stays with you every day, the kind that becomes a part of who you are. So today, in this practice, in this long, gentle story, you and I will walk together through this idea. And I want you to hear every word not only with your ears, but also with your heart, because confidence is not something we force. Confidence is something we grow. Our story begins in a small town, the kind of town that feels familiar even if you have never been there. It has a quiet main street with old shops. The bakery smells like warm bread. The little cafe has wooden chairs that squeak when someone sits. And there, in this small town, lives a person named Mira. Mira is someone who feels deeply, someone who observes the world quietly, someone who people often describe as kind but shy. She speaks softly. She thinks a lot. And when she tries to express her ideas, sometimes her voice shakes just a little. Not because she doesn't know what to say, but because she wonders if her words matter. Maybe you feel something like this sometimes. Maybe you understand Mira already. One morning, Mira sits by her window with a cup of warm tea. She watches people walk by. Some walk quickly, like they know exactly where they are going. Others walk slowly, enjoying the morning air. And as she watches, she feels something strange. A little pressure in her chest. A familiar feeling. A feeling that says, why can't I be more confident? Why can't I speak without fear? She doesn't say this out loud. She just feels it. And she takes a slow breath, trying to calm her mind. But the feeling stays. So she gets up, puts on her shoes, and walks outside. She doesn't know where she is going. She just walks. As she moves through the town, she notices small details she usually ignores. The sound of bicycles, the soft hum of cars, the laugh of a child. She feels the world moving around her, and for a moment she feels small, like she is only watching life, not living it. And then she stops at a small park. There is a wooden bench under a large tree, and she sits. The light falls through the leaves and dances on the ground. It feels peaceful. And while she sits there, something unexpected happens. An old man walks by. He carries a bag of bird food. He smiles at her, and she smiles back politely, thinking he will keep walking. But he stops. Beautiful morning, he says. Yes, Mira answers softly. There is a silence. Not uncomfortable, just quiet. Then the old man says something that surprises her. You look like someone who is thinking very hard. Mira laughs nervously. Maybe I am. Thinking too much can make the morning feel heavy, he says gently. Mira looks down at her hands. She doesn't know why, but she feels like she can say something honest. I wish I were more confident, she admits. Her voice is almost a whisper. The old man doesn't laugh. He doesn't look shocked. He just nods slowly, like he has heard this many times before. He says. Confidence. People think it comes fast, like a sudden light. But confidence is more like a plant. You water it a little every day. And slowly, very slowly, it begins to grow. Mira listens carefully. His voice is slow and steady. Most people try to grow confidence fast, he continues. They push themselves. They rush. And when it doesn't work, they think something is wrong with them. But nothing is wrong. Confidence needs time. It needs small steps. It needs patience. Mira feels something shift inside her. It is not a big change, just a small one, like the beginning of a new idea. But how do you grow it slowly? She asks. The old man smiles. By noticing, by listening, by being gentle with yourself. Confidence is not a performance. It is a relationship. And like every relationship, it grows with care. Then he reaches into his bag and throws a handful of food onto the ground. Birds gather around his feet, hopping, chirping, trusting. These birds were afraid of me once, he says. They flew away whenever I came near. But I came every day. I stood here. I stayed calm. I waited. And slowly, they learned I was safe. Confidence is the same. You meet yourself every day. Quietly. Patiently. Mira watches the birds. She watches how calm he is. She watches how simple everything looks in this moment. And she feels something warm in her chest, hope. A small hope, but real. She wants to ask him more, but before she can speak, he says, "Walk with me." So she stands up, and together they begin walking slowly around the park. He tells her stories, simple stories, about the times he felt afraid, the times he felt unsure, the times he wished he could disappear because he felt so small. He tells her how he learned that confidence does not come from pretending to be strong. It comes from accepting where you are and taking one small step forward. And as he speaks, Mira feels like she is hearing the truth for the first time. Not a big idea. Not a secret formula. Just a gentle truth. When they reach the end of the path, he stops. I will come to this park tomorrow morning, he says. If you want, you can join me. Mira hesitates. She doesn't know why. But then she says yes. I think I will. He nods, smiles, and walks away. Mira stands alone for a moment, feeling the quiet morning around her. Something inside her feels different. Not transformed completely. Not suddenly brave. But different. She feels like she can breathe a little deeper. Like she understands something she did not understand before. As she walks home, she hears her own footsteps on the pavement. She listens to the rhythm. She thinks about the old man's words. Confidence is a plant. Meet yourself every day. Small steps. She repeats them silently. And slowly, she begins to feel that maybe, just maybe, confidence is not as far away as she once believed. She arrives home, makes another cup of tea, and sits by the window again. But this time, she does not feel small. She does not feel lost. She feels like she has begun something. Something gentle. something important. She thinks about tomorrow morning. And for the first time in a long time, she feels a little excited. A small, warm, glowing excitement. The beginning of a new path. And she whispers to herself, one small step. The next morning arrives softly, as if the world is trying not to wake anyone too quickly. The sky is pale and calm, and there is a quiet coolness in the air, the kind that touches your skin softly and reminds you that the day is new, untouched, and waiting. Mira wakes up earlier than usual. She lies in bed for a moment, listening to the small sounds around her, the faint hum of the refrigerator, the soft whisper of the wind pushing gently against the window, the quiet breathing of her own chest rising and falling. And for the first time in a long time, she wakes with a small sense of purpose instead of worry. She sits up slowly, her hair messy, her eyes still heavy with sleep, but her mind already thinking about the old man from yesterday. She remembers his calm voice, the birds gathering around his feet, the simple truth in his words. Confidence grows slowly. The sentence repeats in her mind like a soft drumbeat. She stands, stretches her arms, and lets out a small breath. It feels good. It feels like she is preparing for something gentle but meaningful. Mira puts on a sweater, ties her shoes, and steps outside. The morning air greets her immediately, cool but welcoming. The streets are quiet except for a few early workers and a couple of bicycles passing by. The light is soft, like a watercolor painting. She walks with a slow and steady pace, feeling the world wake with her. It is not a fast walk. It is not a forced walk. It is a walk with intention, the first small step. As she approaches the park, she sees the large tree before anything else. The leaves move lightly in the morning breeze, shimmering with soft sunlight. And under that tree, just like he promised, stands the old man. He is feeding the birds again, scattering small pieces of grain on the ground. The birds hop around his feet, trusting him completely. When he turns and sees her, he smiles, not a big smile, but a warm, quiet one, the kind that says, "I'm glad you came." Mira walks closer and says softly, "Good morning." "Good morning," he replies. "I'm happy to see you here." Many people say they will come, but not many do. Mira feels a small warmth in her chest. "I wanted to try," she says. "That," he answers, "is already a step. A very important one." They stand together for a moment as the birds continue to gather around them. Mira watches them, the way they move, the way they trust, the way they seem so calm. The old man notices her watching. "Do you see how they behave?" he says. "They are not rushing. They are not trying to be brave all at once. They simply come a little closer every day. And slowly, they learn that the world is not as frightening as it feels." Mira nods, understanding the simple lesson hidden inside his words. "Would you like to feed them?" he asks, offering her a small handful of grain. She hesitates. It is such a small action, feeding birds, but something inside her tightens. What if she scares them? What if they don't come near? She feels a small wave of nervousness rise inside her chest, not big, but noticeable. The old man sees it. "It's okay," he says gently. "You don't have to do it perfectly. You don't need to impress anyone. Just open your hand. Let them see. Let them decide. That is enough." So Mira slowly lifts her hand, palm open, grain resting quietly on her skin. She holds it out. At first, the birds keep a small distance. They watch her carefully. Mira feels her hand shake a little, but she keeps it open. She breathes slowly. The old man stands beside her silently, letting her try on her own. And then, very slowly, one of the birds hops closer. Then another. Then another. Their tiny feet tap softly on the ground. One bird steps forward, stretches its neck, and takes a small piece of grain from her hand. Mira's eyes widen with surprise. The bird hops back, then comes again. Soon, two birds are feeding from her palm. Mira feels something warm bloom inside her, slow but unmistakable, a mix of calmness, wonder, and an unexpected confidence. The old man smiles. "See," he says, "you didn't force anything. You didn't pretend. You simply offered your hand. Confidence is the same. You show up. You open your hand. And slowly, life comes to meet you." Mira looks at the birds as they eat. "I didn't think they would trust me." "They didn't trust you yesterday," he answers. "But today is not yesterday. And tomorrow will not be today. You grow a little each time you show up." They stand there for several minutes, letting the morning settle around them like a warm blanket. When the grain is gone, the birds flutter back into the grass, comfortable and unafraid. The old man begins walking along the path, and Mira walks beside him. They move slowly, without rush, the way two people walk when they are comfortable with silence and soft conversation. After a moment, he says, "Tell me something. When you think about confidence, what scares you the most?" Mira thinks about this. It is not an easy question. She looks down at the ground, watching her shoes move one step after another. After a few seconds, she speaks. I think I'm afraid of being seen." The old man nods, as if he has heard this many times before. "And why does being seen scare you?" "Because, what if people see me and think I'm not enough? What if I make a mistake? What if I look foolish? What if I say something wrong?" The old man sighs gently, not in frustration, but in understanding. "Ah," he says, "the fear of judgment. It is one of the strongest fears in the world. And it grows quietly inside us, like a shadow that follows us even when the sun is bright." Mira listens deeply. He continues, "But what if I told you that confidence is not about being unafraid? Confidence is about being willing to be seen anyway." Slowly, gently, in small steps. Mira thinks about this. It feels scary, but also possible. Maybe. The old man stops walking for a moment and turns toward her. "Let me tell you something important," he says. "People think confidence is a loud, strong feeling. But true confidence, the kind that lasts, is quiet, calm, steady. Just like this morning." Mira feels the truth of his words settle inside her, warm and real. He begins walking again, and she follows. Birds sing softly in the trees. The world feels kind, gentle. And for the first time, she thinks, maybe I can grow confidence, slowly, naturally, and maybe it doesn't have to hurt. As Mira walks beside the old man, she begins to notice how small steps feel different from big, forced actions. She recalls times when she tried to appear confident, raising her voice in class, pretending to know everything, smiling when she didn't feel happy. Each time, it left her exhausted, empty, as if she had given away a part of herself just to appear strong. And now, walking slowly, speaking softly, simply showing up, she realizes something new. Confidence doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be instant. It can be small, quiet, steady, like a gentle stream flowing through a forest. She takes a deep breath and tries to hold on to that feeling. It feels good to believe in the possibility of slow, natural growth. The old man pauses near a small fountain in the center of the park. Water spills gently over the stones, creating a soft, soothing sound. He looks at her and says, "Do you know why water can shape even the hardest stone?" Mira shakes her head. Because it is patient. It doesn't fight. It doesn't force. It just flows consistently. Confidence is like water. When you nurture it every day, even in small ways, it begins to shape your life. Not overnight. Not with pressure. Slowly, naturally. Mira listens, imagining the water running over the stone. The image is simple, but it makes her heart feel calm. She realizes she has been trying to be confident like a storm, loud, fast, and forceful, but the result was always exhaustion. Perhaps she can learn to be like the water instead. The idea fills her with quiet hope. They continue walking slowly along the path. The birds have gone, but their quiet presence is still in the air, reminding her of yesterday. Mira notices the subtle sounds of the morning, leaves rustling in the trees, a distant dog barking, the faint hum of life beginning. She begins to realize that confidence doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need applause. It simply needs her attention, her presence, her willingness to be small and steady every day. This thought makes her feel lighter, almost as if a small weight has lifted from her shoulders. At a quiet bench, the old man sits and gestures for Mira to sit beside him. "Let's try something," he says. "I want you to think about one small action you can do today that makes you feel a little braver. Nothing big. Just one tiny step." Mira frowns softly, thinking. She wants to say something profound, but then she remembers the old man's words about patience, about small steps. She breathes slowly and says, "I think I could speak to someone new today. Just a small conversation. Not about anything important. Just, hello." The old man smiles, nodding slowly. "Perfect. That is a very good step. Small, but meaningful. One conversation. Nothing forced. Nothing rushed. Just presence and willingness. That is all that is needed." Mira feels her chest tighten slightly, a mix of nervousness and excitement. She has never done this before. The thought of speaking to a stranger feels scary, but also possible. The old man sees her hesitation and says, "Fear is normal. You will feel it. But feeling fear does not mean you cannot act. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is action with fear." She repeats the words silently, feeling their weight. "Action with fear, okay? I can try." They sit together in silence for a few minutes, letting the fountain's soft sound fill the space between them. Mira feels a sense of calm she hasn't felt in a long time. It is not dramatic. It is not exciting. It is gentle. And she begins to understand that confidence may not come with fireworks or applause. It may come with quiet mornings, soft footsteps, small birds trusting her hand, and gentle conversations. Each tiny action, done consistently, slowly builds something real inside her. The old man stands and begins walking again, gesturing for her to follow. "Now go and practice your small step. But before you do, remember this. Do not judge yourself harshly. Do not measure yourself against others. Compare yourself only to who you were yesterday. Did you show up? Did you try? That is the only measure that matters." Mira nods, taking the words deeply into her heart. She feels a small fire of determination, not a blazing inferno, but a steady flame that warms her gently. She feels ready, or at least ready enough to try. As she walks toward the town's small main street, she begins to notice the people around her differently. not as strangers or threats, but as fellow humans, each with their own quiet battles, each with their own small steps, each moving slowly through life, just like her. She sees the barista arranging pastries with care, a delivery man wheeling a cart slowly down the street, a mother holding her child's hand as they walk. All of them are taking small steps in their own way. And Mira realizes, quietly, that she is part of this rhythm too. Her heart beats faster as she approaches a small cafe. She decides this is where she will practice her step. She sees a woman sitting alone at a table, reading a book. Mira takes a deep breath, reminding herself, one small conversation. Nothing forced. She walks up slowly and says softly, "Hi, may I sit here?" Her voice shakes just a little, but it is audible. The woman looks up, smiles, and says, "Sure, of course." Mira feels a small warmth in her chest. That is it. One small step. No grand speech, no dramatic gesture. Just presence. Just action. They begin a short conversation. Mira listens more than she speaks, letting the words come naturally. She feels nervous, but also alive. After a few minutes, she thanks the woman and leaves the cafe, her chest lighter than when she entered. She feels a quiet pride, the kind that comes from showing up, from taking one small, brave step. Walking home, Mira reflects on the morning. She remembers the old man's words about water shaping stone, about small, consistent actions. She realizes that fear and nervousness do not vanish instantly, but their power over her weakens when she acts gently and consistently. Confidence is not about being perfect or fearless. It is about showing up, learning slowly, moving one small step at a time. When she reaches home, Mira sits by the window, looking out at the quiet town. She sips her tea and smiles softly to herself. She feels a tiny seed of something new planted inside her. It is small but alive. She knows the path ahead will not be easy, but she also knows she is ready to walk it slowly, gently, naturally. One step at a time. That evening, Mira sits by her window once again. The sky has turned a soft orange, fading into a quiet purple as night approaches. The town is calm, the streets nearly empty, and the air carries the subtle smell of evening flowers. She reflects on the day, the birds in the park, the fountain, the short conversation at the cafe, the gentle words of the old man. Each moment feels small on its own, but together they form a quiet story she has begun to live. She feels something soft inside her chest, a warmth that wasn't there before, a tiny flame that refuses to be ignored. This is her first gentle step toward confidence, and it feels real. Mira thinks about fear. She realizes that it didn't disappear today. It was there, almost like a companion, whispering doubts in the back of her mind. But she also notices something new. The fear is no longer controlling her. It is simply present. She breathed with it. She acted with it. And the world did not collapse. She feels a sense of relief. The old man was right. Confidence does not come from never being afraid. Confidence comes from being willing to move forward slowly, even with fear beside you. She remembers the birds feeding from her hand. The way they trusted her because she showed up every day. The metaphor feels alive now. Each small action, each tiny step she takes in life, is like scattering grain for her own confidence. She doesn't need to rush. She doesn't need to impress anyone. She only needs to be present, consistent, patient. Slowly, these small steps will shape who she is, just like the water shaping the stone in the fountain, just like the birds learning to trust. Mira also thinks about the people she passed on her walk, the barista, the delivery man, the mother with her child. Each one is walking their own path, taking their own small steps, facing their own quiet fears. The thought makes her feel less alone. Confidence is not a race. It is a personal journey, unique to each person. And she begins to understand that comparing herself to others only steals the beauty of her own growth. She smiles softly, thinking, I am exactly where I need to be. Her mind drifts to the old man. She thinks about how he never forced her, never judged her, never demanded big results. He simply showed her a path, slow, gentle, patient. And it worked. She feels gratitude, quiet but deep. Gratitude for guidance, for the morning, for the small lessons that feel simple but are powerful. She knows she will return to the park. She will meet him again, listen again, practice again. Because growth is not a single event. It is a series of soft, consistent moments strung together over time. And she feels ready to string these moments together, day by day. As the night deepens, Mira takes out a small notebook she keeps hidden in her drawer. She writes one sentence slowly, deliberately. Today I took one small step toward confidence. She doesn't write more. She doesn't need to. The sentence alone carries weight. It reminds her that progress is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is quiet, almost invisible, but no less real. She closes the notebook and places it gently on her bedside table. Before she goes to sleep, she takes a few deep breaths, letting her mind rest. She thinks about tomorrow, the park, the fountain, the birds, the conversation she hopes to have. But she doesn't feel anxious. She feels calm. She feels ready to continue, step by step, slowly and naturally. Confidence, she realizes, is not a destination. It is a journey. A journey of showing up, of acting gently, of trusting herself, of letting small actions accumulate like soft raindrops filling a cup. And she feels certain, quietly but firmly, that she is beginning that journey now. Lying down, Mira closes her eyes. She listens to the soft sounds of the night, the distant hum of the town, the rustle of leaves, her own steady breathing. She feels a gentle smile tug at her lips. She feels something that has been missing for a long time, a sense of possibility. Not grand, not forced, not loud, just possibility. The possibility that she can grow, that she can act, that she can be seen, that she can trust herself. And she whispers softly to herself, one step at a time. Slowly, gently, naturally. The night passes and Mira sleeps peacefully. In her dreams, she sees the morning sun, the soft path through the park, the birds, the fountain. She sees herself walking, slowly, steadily, without fear, without rushing. And she feels, deep inside, that this path, small, gentle, patient, is the path that will guide her to the confidence she has always wanted. Not overnight, not suddenly, but slowly, naturally, day by day, step by step. And in that quiet, the story of Mira's first gentle step comes to a pause, not an end. Because every day will bring another step, another lesson, another small victory. And in this slow unfolding, the true essence of confidence begins to grow. Softly, steadily, unstoppably. And Mira knows, as she drifts fully into sleep, that she has begun something real. Something lasting. Something beautiful. The next morning, Mira wakes up with a quiet energy she has never felt before. The sun peeks gently over the rooftops, spilling warm light across her small bedroom. She stretches slowly, feeling the soft tension in her muscles, and takes a deep, steady breath. Today feels different. Not dramatic, not filled with sudden excitement, but quietly purposeful. She remembers the old man's words, "Confidence grows slowly. Small steps every day." Those words have become a gentle rhythm in her mind, like a quiet song playing softly in the background. She smiles and whispers to herself, one step at a time. Mira dresses in comfortable clothes and steps outside. The morning air is crisp, carrying the smell of fresh dew and blooming flowers. She walks slowly through the quiet streets, noticing details she usually overlooks. The way sunlight reflects on windows, the soft rustling of leaves, the tiny cracks in the pavement. Each small detail feels alive, like a subtle reminder that the world itself moves patiently at its own pace. And Mira realizes she is beginning to feel a rhythm in her own life, a gentle pattern that grows with every small step she takes. When she reaches the park, the old man is already there, scattering grain for the birds. His movements are calm, steady, and unhurried. The birds hop closer as he spreads the food, and Mira smiles. She feels the connection between his patience and the way the birds respond. The lesson is clear. Trust and consistency are powerful forces, even in the smallest of actions. Mira takes a deep breath and approaches him. "Good morning," she says softly. "Good morning," he replies with a warm smile. "Did you rest well?" "Yes," Mira answers. "I slept peacefully." "That is good," he says. Rest is an important part of growth. Confidence is not only built by action, but also by reflection and calmness. It is like the roots of a tree. Quiet, steady, growing beneath the surface. Mira nods, thinking of the metaphor. She looks at the birds, now pecking gently at the ground, and imagines confidence as roots growing quietly beneath her own surface. Perhaps she has been impatient in the past, wanting change too quickly, pushing herself too hard. But now she feels ready to trust the process, to allow small, gentle actions to accumulate over time. The idea feels liberating. She feels lighter, more willing to experiment, more willing to meet herself where she is. The old man gestures toward a path that winds through the park. "Let us walk," he says. "Today, we will talk about rhythm." Rhythm is the heartbeat of life. It guides confidence, speech, action, and thought. Without rhythm, we feel rushed, lost, disconnected. With rhythm, we move smoothly, naturally, like water over stones. Do you understand? Mira nods slowly. "I think so." Rhythm, like a pattern, a steady flow. "Yes," he replies. "A personal rhythm, unique to you. Finding it is crucial. It allows you to act without force, to speak without fear, to move without anxiety. And rhythm is discovered only through practice, reflection, and patience." They begin walking slowly along the path. The ground is soft, damp from morning dew, and the air is filled with subtle bird songs and distant laughter. Mira notices the way the old man walks, calm, steady, unhurried. She tries to mirror his pace, feeling the rhythm in her own steps, feeling her heartbeat align with the quiet movement of the morning. Step by step, she begins to feel more present, more aware of her body, her breath, and her mind. Rhythm, she realizes, is not only in action, but also in awareness, a harmony between thought, feeling, and movement. The old man speaks softly as they walk. Most people rush through life, trying to be confident quickly. They push, they force, they compare. But true rhythm comes only when you slow down, when you listen, when you allow yourself to move naturally. Confidence, like rhythm, cannot be demanded. It must be discovered. Mira listens carefully. She thinks about the small conversation at the cafe yesterday, the slow walk through the streets, the feeding of the birds. Each moment had its own rhythm. Each small action had its own pace. And now she begins to understand how her own rhythm can guide her forward. She feels a quiet excitement, the kind that is steady and growing, not loud and overwhelming. It is the first sign of something new, her personal rhythm of confidence. After a few minutes, the old man pauses by a bench near a small pond. He sits and gestures for Mira to do the same. "Let us practice listening to rhythm," he says. "Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Feel your heartbeat. Notice your breath. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the small movements of your body. This is the beginning of awareness. When you are aware of your own rhythm, you can align your actions, your speech, and your thoughts naturally. Confidence flows from this alignment." Mira closes her eyes. She inhales deeply, then exhales slowly. She notices the soft rhythm of her breathing. In 2, 3, out, 2, 3. She listens to the distant sounds, water dripping into the pond, birds calling to each other, leaves rustling. She feels the rhythm of her heartbeat, steady, calm. For a moment, she forgets fear, forgets judgment, forgets the pressure to perform. She is simply present. And in that presence, she feels the first quiet surge of confidence, not loud, not sudden, but subtle, real, and grounding. The old man waits silently. After a few minutes, he speaks. "Now, open your eyes. Carry this rhythm with you. Step, speak, act. Let your rhythm guide you, not force you. Let your pace be gentle, consistent, personal. And remember, this rhythm is yours. Nobody else can give it to you. You must discover it, nurture it, and respect it." Mira opens her eyes slowly, feeling the warmth of the morning sun on her face. She looks at the pond, the birds, the softly swaying trees. A new understanding settles in her mind. Confidence is not a single skill or a single moment. It is a living rhythm, discovered through awareness, nurtured through small actions, strengthened through patience. And today, she begins to feel it inside her. Mira rises from the bench, feeling the quiet energy of awareness in her chest. She notices how different her steps feel now, slower, steadier, more intentional. Each footfall seems to connect with her breathing, her heartbeat, the soft rhythm of the world around her. For the first time, she realizes that walking itself can be a form of practice. Not walking to get somewhere quickly, not walking to escape or to impress, but walking as an act of presence, a meditation of motion. She feels the gentle hum of life flowing through her, and it gives her courage, quiet courage, rooted in rhythm, not in force. The old man walks beside her, noticing her focus. "Do you feel the difference?" he asks softly. "Yes," Mira replies. "I feel calm, present, like I am moving with something bigger than myself." "Good," he says. "That is your rhythm beginning to form." Confidence grows when you align with your rhythm. And rhythm comes from practice. Small, gentle, repeated actions. Step by step. Word by word. Breath by breath. It cannot be rushed. Mira nods, letting the words sink in. She begins to reflect on her own life. Times when she forced herself to appear confident, when she hurried through conversations, when she tried to speak louder or act stronger than she felt. Each memory brings a small shiver, a subtle awareness of how unnatural it had felt. And now she begins to understand that confidence does not mean louder or faster. Confidence means attuned. Confidence means steady. Confidence means rhythm. They walk past the fountain and the birds, now fully awake in the morning sun. Mira notices how the water flows smoothly over the stones, how the ripples spread naturally without effort. She thinks about the metaphor, water shaping stone over time. Every gentle action leaves an effect, even if it seems small. Every slow conversation, every mindful step, every act of patience builds a quiet, steady strength. Confidence is not a sudden flash of brilliance. It is a rhythm, a flow, a living force that emerges gradually when nurtured. The old man stops beside a tree and sits on a low branch. He gestures for Mira to join him. "Let us practice finding rhythm in speech," he says. Many people think confidence is shown only by action. But speech is also a rhythm. Listen carefully to your words, your pauses, your tone. Speak slowly. Speak naturally. Speak with awareness. Rhythm in speech creates understanding, not only for others, but for yourself. Mira nods. She takes a deep breath and begins speaking softly, describing the park around her, the birds, the fountain, the soft light of morning. She notices the way her voice naturally rises and falls, the subtle pauses that give meaning to her words, the gentle flow that connects her thoughts. It feels strange at first, like learning a new instrument. But soon, she feels a quiet pleasure in the rhythm of her own speech, a sense of alignment between her mind, her breath, and her voice. "Very good," the old man says. "You are listening to yourself. That is the first step." Many people speak without hearing themselves. They rush. They push. They fear silence. But when you hear your own rhythm, you gain clarity. You gain confidence. And that confidence is real, because it is grounded in who you are, not in who you pretend to be. Mira smiles softly, feeling a warmth in her chest. She realizes that each day, each small step, is building not only her confidence, but also her awareness. Confidence is no longer a distant goal. It is something she feels growing quietly, like the pulse of the morning, like the flow of water, like the soft rhythm in her voice. It is within her. She only needs to notice it, nurture it, and let it expand gently. The old man stands and stretches his arms, then looks at her. "Now, take this rhythm with you into your day. Speak with it, walk with it, act with it. Do not hurry. Do not push. Allow your rhythm to guide you. And remember, mistakes are not failures. They are simply parts of the rhythm. Every pause, every hesitation, every step is a beat in the music of your growth. Mira nods, feeling the weight of his words. She takes a few moments to breathe, grounding herself in the rhythm of her body, her voice, her presence. She feels a sense of readiness, not sudden, not forced, but steady, calm, natural. Today, she will carry this rhythm into the town, into conversations, into actions she once feared. Step by step, word by word, breath by breath. Slowly, steadily, naturally. As they begin walking back toward the edge of the park, Mira notices small details she had missed before. The sparkle of dew on the grass, the soft shadow of a tree moving in the morning light, the distant sound of children laughing. She realizes that finding rhythm is not about grand achievements. It is about noticing life, aligning with it, moving in harmony rather than against it. Each small step, each gentle observation, each mindful action contributes to the rhythm of confidence. And she feels the subtle joy of being alive in this rhythm, fully present, fully aware, fully herself. Mira walks out of the park with a quiet, steady energy flowing through her. The town feels alive, but she no longer feels rushed or anxious. She notices people around her, a man arranging flowers in front of a shop, a woman pushing a stroller, a small group of children laughing. For a moment, she observes without judgment, simply noticing the rhythm of their movements, the patterns of life around her. And she realizes that her rhythm is connected to the world's rhythm, not separate from it. Confidence, she thinks, is not about standing apart or being louder than everyone else. It is about moving in harmony with life, step by step, in your own way. She remembers yesterday's small conversation at the cafe and smiles. It seems simple, almost trivial, but she now understands its deeper significance. Speaking with someone new, listening carefully, allowing the rhythm of conversation to guide her, these small actions are powerful. They form the foundation of a confidence that does not depend on approval, applause, or perfection. It is quiet, steady, and grounded. And today, she feels ready to expand that rhythm into other areas of her life. As she continues walking, Mira decides to test herself. She notices a small bakery and remembers the old man's words about taking gentle steps. She takes a deep breath and enters. The bell above the door rings softly. The aroma of fresh bread and pastries fills the air. A woman behind the counter smiles warmly. Mira feels a small flutter of nervousness, but she reminds herself, step with your rhythm. Speak with your rhythm. Breathe with your rhythm. Good morning, Mira says softly, her voice calm and steady. The woman smiles. Good morning. How can I help you today? Mira orders a simple pastry, speaking slowly, clearly, with pauses that feel natural. The transaction is simple, yet she feels a quiet triumph. Each word, each breath, each step reflects the rhythm she has begun to cultivate. She leaves the bakery, holding the small bag in her hand, feeling a sense of accomplishment that is neither loud nor dramatic, but deeply satisfying. Walking home, Mira reflects on the morning. She remembers the old man, the fountain, the birds, the conversations, the quiet lessons about rhythm. She feels a gentle gratitude, a recognition that her journey is unfolding naturally. Confidence, she realizes, is like a song with many small notes. Each note, each pause, each subtle beat contributes to the whole. and she feels fortunate to have discovered the first lines of her own song, her own rhythm, her own steady melody. By the time she reaches her room, the sun is higher, spilling warm light across the floor. Mira sits by the window and takes out her small notebook. She writes slowly, deliberately. Today I practiced my rhythm in action and speech. I noticed, I paused, I acted. I am growing. She doesn't rush, she doesn't judge. Each word is a reflection of her presence, a quiet acknowledgement of her progress. She closes the notebook gently, feeling a deep, steady sense of satisfaction. This rhythm is hers, personal and true. She knows she must continue to nurture it every day, with patience, with care, with mindfulness. As evening approaches, Mira recalls the first day she met the old man, the nervousness she felt feeding the birds, the fear of speaking to a stranger. She sees now how far she has come in just a few days, not because of dramatic change, but because of consistent, gentle effort. Confidence, she understands, is not sudden. It is gradual. It is cultivated. It is found in small actions, in awareness, in rhythm. And as she breathes deeply, she feels a new layer of self-trust forming, quietly, naturally, steadily. Before going to sleep, Mira stands by the window, looking at the soft glow of the streetlights and the calm night sky. She takes a deep breath, feeling her heartbeat, feeling her breath, feeling the rhythm within her. She smiles softly, understanding that her journey is just beginning. Each day will bring new challenges, new fears, new opportunities to practice rhythm. And each day will bring the chance to move gently, steadily, and confidently, step by step. Confidence is no longer a distant dream. It is here, in the rhythm she feels, in the small steps she takes, in the gentle flow of her life. And as Mira closes her eyes, ready to sleep, she whispers softly to herself, I am learning my rhythm. I am trusting my steps. I am growing slowly, naturally, steadily. And with that, she drifts into calm, peaceful sleep, carrying the quiet, steady rhythm of confidence into the dreams and days to come. The next morning, Mira wakes to a soft drizzle tapping against her window. The sky is gray and the streets are quiet. Normally, she might feel a flicker of hesitation, a reluctance to go outside, to face the world. But today feels different. She remembers the rhythm she has been cultivating, the steady confidence she has begun to nurture. The rain does not feel like a problem. It feels like part of life's rhythm, another beat in the song she is learning to follow. She breathes slowly, feeling the steady pulse of her heart, and whispers to herself, step by step. Breathe. Move gently. Face what comes. Mira dresses in a light raincoat and steps outside. The air smells fresh and clean, and the soft patter of raindrops creates a quiet, calming sound. She walks slowly, letting the rhythm of her steps match the rhythm of the rain. Each step is deliberate, mindful, intentional. And for the first time, she notices how natural it feels to face challenges without rushing, without pushing herself, without fear controlling her actions. She remembers the old man's words, confidence is action with fear. Courage is gentle. It is calm. It is steady. Today, she feels ready to test that idea. As she approaches the park, she notices that the ground is slippery and the usual paths are small streams of rainwater. A thought crosses her mind. I need to be careful. I need to be cautious. She smiles softly at herself. This is not weakness. This is awareness. Confidence does not mean ignoring challenges. It means moving through them with calm courage. She steps carefully, letting her rhythm guide her, feeling the connection between her body, her mind, and the wet earth beneath her feet. When she reaches the fountain, the birds are fewer today, sheltering from the rain. The old man is there, standing under the branches of a tree, holding a small umbrella over his head. He waves at her with a gentle smile. "Good morning, Mira," he calls softly. The rain brings challenges, but also opportunities. Every challenge you face is a chance to practice calm courage. "Are you ready today?" "Yes," Mira replies, feeling a quiet determination. "I want to learn." "Very good," he says. Courage is not absence of fear. It is acting in spite of fear. Calm courage is acting with awareness, patience, and rhythm. The rain is part of your lesson today. Notice how your body reacts, notice your mind, notice your thoughts. And then act gently, steadily, naturally. Mira nods and follows him toward the small clearing near the fountain. The old man gestures for her to sit on a dry patch of grass. Today, we practice facing obstacles in speech and action. Often, when people are challenged, they rush, they panic, they push too hard. They forget their rhythm. Today, we will learn to slow down, to breathe, to move steadily through challenge. He picks up a small stick and draws a simple maze in the mud. "Imagine this is a problem you must solve," he says. "Every turn represents a choice. Every path represents a step you can take. Some paths are tricky, slippery, or uncertain. Others are easy. But you cannot rush. You cannot force. You must move with calm awareness. You must trust your rhythm. Begin at the start and walk through it in your mind." Mira studies the maze. At first, she feels a flicker of frustration. It seems confusing, like there are too many decisions to make, too many uncertainties. Her mind wants to rush, to find the fastest path, to solve it immediately. But she remembers the lessons of the past days, the gentle steps, the rhythm, the calm presence. She breathes deeply and begins to trace a slow path with her finger, noticing each twist, each turn, each small decision. She pauses at tricky spots, observes, adjusts her movement, and continues. Step by step, thought by thought, breath by breath. The old man watches silently, then nods. "Excellent. You are moving through uncertainty with calm courage. Notice how your body feels, how your mind responds. You are not panicking. You are not rushing. You are acting with awareness. This is true confidence." Mira feels a quiet pride. She notices her heartbeat, steady under her chest. She notices her breathing, calm and controlled. She notices her fingers moving through the mud with gentle precision. And she realizes that challenges, even small ones, no longer feel like threats. They feel like invitations, opportunities to practice her rhythm, her calm courage, her steady confidence. And she begins to feel a subtle joy in this realization. After a few moments, the old man gestures for her to stand. "Now, take your lesson into the town. Let each small challenge you encounter today be an opportunity to act with calm courage. Speak with your rhythm. Move with your rhythm. Let fear be present, but let it guide you rather than control you." Mira nods. She feels ready, not because the challenges are easy, but because she now has a method, a rhythm, a presence, a calm courage to face them. She steps carefully through the rain, feeling each drop as part of the rhythm of life. Step by step, she walks toward the small cafe she visited yesterday. The thought of speaking again to someone she does not know makes her heart beat faster, But she recalls the old man's words, "Confidence is action with fear." She smiles softly and steps forward. As she approaches the door, the bell chimes softly, and Mira feels a sense of readiness unlike any before. She knows she may hesitate, she may stumble over words, she may feel nervous, but today, she is prepared to meet each challenge with calm courage. She is learning not to fight the fear, but to move alongside it, to allow it to flow with her rhythm. And in this quiet awareness, she feels the true power of confidence beginning to unfold. Mira steps into the cafe, the soft smell of coffee and pastries greeting her. Her heartbeat quickens slightly, but she focuses on her rhythm, her steady breath. The barista looks up and smiles. "Good morning." The usual. Mira hesitates for a moment. Normally, she would have rushed to answer, anxious about saying the wrong thing. But today is different. She inhales slowly, noticing the beat of her own chest, the subtle rhythm of the cafe around her, and replies softly, steadily, "Good morning. Yes, the usual, please." The words feel calm, natural. She notices the small pause before she speaks, the gentle rise and fall of her tone, and feels a subtle satisfaction. This is courage in action, facing a small challenge with awareness rather than fear. As she waits, Mira observes the people around her. There is a woman reading quietly at a table, a young man typing on a laptop, a child pointing at a pastry with excitement. Each person is engaged in their own world, their own rhythm. Mira notices that nobody is judging her. Nobody is watching her mistakes or waiting for her to falter. And she realizes that many of her fears had existed only inside her mind. The challenge was not the people, the rain, or the cafe. The challenge was her hesitation, her doubt, her expectation of failure. Now, she begins to see that by moving with calm courage, she can face these internal obstacles as clearly as the external ones. The barista hands her the coffee, smiling. "Here you go," she says. Mira thanks her, her voice steady and clear. She takes a small sip and feels the warmth spread through her chest. A simple act, she thinks, yet powerful. Every small challenge met builds strength, adds a layer to her confidence, and strengthens her rhythm. She remembers the old man's words, "Every challenge, no matter how small, is an opportunity to practice calm courage." Your confidence grows in these moments. She feels grateful for the reminder and for her own willingness to try. Leaving the cafe, Mira notices a small group of children playing near a puddle. One of the children slips and almost falls. Mira instinctively reaches out to help, steadying the child. The child smiles and the mother thanks her. Mira feels a quiet satisfaction. She realizes that facing challenges is not only about personal growth, but also about connecting with others, about responding gently and calmly when situations arise. Courage is not a performance. It is a presence, a steady response to the moment. And with each action, her confidence grows, rooted not in applause but in awareness. Walking further, Mira encounters a narrow bridge over a small stream. The rain has made it slippery. Normally, she might have hesitated, feeling fear of falling or embarrassment if she slipped. But today, she remembers her rhythm, her calm courage. She pauses at the edge, notices her footing, breathes deeply, and steps carefully. Step by step, she crosses the bridge, fully aware of each movement. Her pulse is steady. Her thoughts are clear. Her breath is calm. And on the other side, she feels a surge of quiet triumph. Not because she has done something extraordinary, but because she has met a challenge with presence, patience, and rhythm. Mira pauses on the other side of the bridge, looking at the flowing water beneath her. She reflects on the morning, the cafe, the children, the bridge, the rain. Each moment had been an opportunity to face a challenge, and each moment had been met with calm courage. She feels a subtle pride, not loud or boastful, but steady, grounding, and real. Confidence, she realizes, is built in these ordinary moments, these small acts of mindful action, these gentle choices to move forward despite hesitation or fear. And she begins to see that courage and confidence are not only about grand moments, but about the accumulation of small, steady victories. The old man's lessons come to mind once again. He had said, "Fear is not your enemy. It is your companion. Walk with it, not against it. Let it guide you, not control you." Mira feels that truth deep in her chest. The challenges she faces will always bring some fear, but she now knows she can act alongside it. Calm courage is not about absence of fear. It is about presence of awareness. It is about stepping forward with rhythm, clarity, and patience. And today, she has practiced it, slowly, steadily, naturally. By mid-morning, the rain begins to lessen. The clouds part slightly, revealing patches of blue sky. Mira feels a quiet lightness, a sense of possibility. She knows that more challenges will come, but she also knows that she is prepared. Not by removing fear, not by forcing herself to be perfect, but by cultivating a rhythm of calm courage, by practicing presence, patience, and steady action. And she feels a growing sense of trust in herself, a belief that she can meet the next challenge, and the next, with grace, awareness, and confidence. By noon, Mira finds herself walking along the town square, the streets now glistening from the rain. She notices small puddles reflecting the soft sunlight, children splashing, and vendors quietly arranging their goods. Each scene reminds her that life is full of challenges, both big and small. Some are messy, some are unexpected, and some are gentle nudges, asking her to act. But today, she feels different. Today, she carries calm courage in her chest, a rhythm that guides her steps, her breath, her words. She feels ready for whatever the day may bring. As she approaches a small bookstore, she recalls a time when she would have hesitated to enter, worrying about speaking to the owner or seeming out of place. But now she feels a quiet curiosity and a willingness to engage. She pushes the door open, and a soft chime announces her arrival. The smell of books fills the air, comforting and rich. The store owner looks up from a counter stacked with novels. "Good afternoon. Can I help you find something?" Mira pauses, noticing her natural rhythm, her steady breath, and answers softly, clearly, "Good afternoon. I'm just looking around, thank you." Her words flow naturally, without rush, without tension. She feels a small but powerful sense of accomplishment. As she wanders through the aisles, Mira notices a small section of books on personal growth and self-discipline. She picks one up and flips through the pages slowly. Each word seems alive, each sentence a gentle nudge reminding her that progress is built through practice, patience, and awareness. She realizes that challenges are not meant to stop her. They are meant to guide her, teach her, and help her grow. Her fear is no longer a barrier. It is a companion, a subtle signal that she is stepping into meaningful experiences. And she smiles quietly, feeling the rhythm of courage flow through her actions. After leaving the bookstore, Mira notices a small group of people waiting to cross the street. The traffic light turns green, but one person hesitates, unsure. Without thinking too much, Mira gently signals, allowing the person to go first. A soft smile is exchanged, and she feels a warmth inside. She realizes that calm courage is not only about facing challenges for herself, but also about creating space for others, moving with awareness and acting with kindness. Each small act reinforces her confidence, showing her that courage is not loud or dramatic. It is steady, grounded, and thoughtful. Walking further, she sees a young woman struggling to carry a large bag of groceries. Mira instinctively offers help, and together they move the bag to a safe place. The woman thanks her, and Mira feels a subtle joy. Helping someone in need, even in a small way, feels like a natural extension of her growing courage. She begins to understand that true confidence is not just about speaking or performing. It is about aligning actions, thoughts, and presence with awareness and care. Calm courage is about being fully present in each moment and responding wisely, gently, and naturally. By mid-afternoon, Mira returns to the park. The sun has broken through, casting golden light on the fountain and the birds. She finds the old man sitting quietly, scattering grain as always. He looks up and smiles. "You have practiced well today," he says. "You faced challenges, and you acted with calm courage. Notice how you feel inside." Mira pauses, reflecting on the morning and afternoon. She notices a subtle expansion in her chest, a quiet strength in her posture, a steady flow in her breath. She realizes that the fears that once held her back are still present, but they no longer control her. Instead, she acts alongside them, letting rhythm, presence, and awareness guide her. "I feel steady," she says softly. "I feel calm and I feel ready." The old man nods. That is the essence of calm courage. Confidence is not about never feeling fear. It is about moving with it, learning from it, and acting despite it. Each challenge you face strengthens your rhythm. Each small step builds your foundation. And each action, no matter how simple, contributes to your growth. Mira sits quietly, watching the birds feed and the water flow. She reflects on the day, on the cafe, the bridge, the bookstore, the small acts of kindness, and the steady rhythm of her steps. She feels a quiet gratitude, not for perfection, not for applause, but for her own willingness to act with awareness, patience, and presence. Calm courage, she realizes, is a lifelong practice, a rhythm she will continue to nurture every day. And she feels a deep sense of satisfaction, knowing that each challenge she faces is another step forward on her journey. As the sun begins to set, Mira writes in her notebook, "Today I faced small challenges with calm courage. I noticed my rhythm. I acted with awareness. I am growing." She closes the notebook and smiles. She knows that tomorrow will bring new moments, new challenges, new opportunities to practice. And she feels ready, not because the world has become easier, but because she has learned to face it with steady rhythm, gentle confidence, and calm courage. And in that quiet understanding, Mira feels a deep, lasting peace, knowing that her journey of confidence is unfolding naturally, step by step. The next morning, Mira wakes to the gentle sound of birds singing outside her window. The world feels calm, peaceful, and full of quiet promise. She stretches and takes a deep, steady breath, feeling her heartbeat and her rhythm once again. Today, she is reminded of something new the old man mentioned yesterday, the power of consistency. Confidence, he said, is built not in a single moment, but through repeated, steady actions. Mira feels a quiet excitement as she imagines the possibilities. Each day, each small choice, each deliberate step can become part of a consistent practice that nurtures her growth. She smiles softly and whispers to herself, one step, every day. Small, steady, repeated. She dresses simply, puts on comfortable shoes, and steps outside. The streets are bathed in morning light, with dew still glistening on the leaves and the pavement. Mira walks slowly, noticing details she might have ignored before, the way the sun reflects off a puddle, the subtle scent of wet earth, the soft hum of life around her. Each step feels connected, intentional, like a small beat in the rhythm of her day. And she begins to understand that consistency is not about forcing action or pushing too hard. It is about showing up every